Hello again. My project is on the Rodney King beating, and then along with the riots in LA that followed that. For the second part of my essay, I've been doing some research to figure out kind of how I want to tie this in to a larger, you know, kind of event and perspective. And I decided the basis of my essay now is on blacks and Koreans and like the conflict that they had between each other and kind of why that was. So I have found a couple articles here on Ethnic News Watch that I found really interesting. I haven't read through them fully, I've just kind of skimmed them, but I feel like these will really be a great source for my essay. Professor Weiss had given me a couple of book suggestions, but unfortunately they're just kind of unavailable. They're not at the bookstore. I'm going to still try to see if I can access them somewhere. But as of right now, the only one that I'm going to grab at the library is The Shifting Grounds of Race, Black and Japanese Americans in the Making of Multi-Ethnic Los Angeles. And I've read there was like a couple page summary on the book, and it basically is kind of giving different events and stuff that happened, and mainly this book deals with like immigrating and blacks and Koreans immigrating and kind of how that played a role, and then it also relates directly to Los Angeles, so I think that'll be really an interesting perspective with that. And then this article as well that I found on the UO Libraries goes over the, like it says here, misinterpretations and injustice, the 1992 Los Angeles riots and Black Korean conflict. And I've read over this, and I feel like there's some really interesting perspectives in this. And so I think mainly I'm just, it's great getting kind of how I'm basing my essay is off of, how they were during the riots, kind of, the aftermath effects of it, and now today, kind of what the relationship between blacks and Koreans is like. So I'm just trying to get, those different kind of general articles on the situation, and I'm also trying to find ones that where it's like a Korean perspective, and then somewhere there's a black perspective. I've noticed that surprisingly enough there are a ton of stuff on the Koreans and their thoughts and kind of their take on the whole situation and what was going on with them, but I'm having a lot more difficult time finding black perspective for some reason. I feel like I've looked a lot and I just haven't really been able to find much. So I guess, yeah, if you know of like a good site or anything like that that maybe would have something on that, I would really appreciate that. I have been trying to find like news, kind of interviews and stuff like that, and this one I'll just quickly play a little snippet. I found that some of the stuff that these gentlemen say here is quite interesting, but I'm kind of thinking that when for the black perspective I might have to go off of more like interviews and stuff like that, since I'm not really finding articles.
Because it's time that we stop letting them slap us in the face. We were taught to turn the other cheek, and it's like time to stop. They killed Eula Love. They shot her 13 times. She was disarmed. They keep killing us. We cannot allow this to keep happening.
I think this is kind of what I've been getting at with the black perspective, is that, with the rioting that they were doing, I guess there was an incident of a Korean woman shooting a 13-year-old black girl and not going to jail for it. I need to look a little bit more in depth with that, because that's interesting. It sounds like basically the blacks during this time were just very, just felt, like they were kind of alone in this whole thing. So there's that. And then oh yeah. And then this was the Korean, this was on Korea Times, and it's an article about how Korea felt about race and the conflict that they went through. And, you know, like it says here, as for Koreans, we need to consider several factors to understand the whys behind black hostility. And it sounds like, you know, there was kind of some confusion going on. At the same time, in my findings, I have found that blacks felt very like mistreated and, you know, just kind of discriminated against when they would go into these Korean shops. They also, you know, felt like Koreans were the model minority and they were just, you know, coming over to America and LA and, you know, opening shops and all this stuff, and no one, I mean, there was racial problems, but it seemed like blacks were still being targeted at. So I think that's kind of all that I have for you guys. But yeah, if you have any suggestions or anything like that, please let me know. Thank you.